On this day, 146 years ago, President Ulysses S. Grant signed the law creating the first national park in the world. Old Faithful, the most famous of Yellowstone's 10,000 geothermal features, continues to inspire millions of people who visit every year. Now, winter comes early to the park. In fact, with winters getting shorter, that means it might mean a change for the park's future. MTN's Chet Lehman tells us more.
Most of us know that Yellowstone National Park is a giant volcanic caldera. But in reality, it might be easier to think of Yellowstone as a 2.2 million acre water tank.
Time of year that most people never see and don't think about. And so the amount of snow we have and the amount of snow we store over the winter affects everything going into the spring, the summer, and even into next year.
This winter has been good for snowpack. Some higher elevations, as much as nearly double the amount seen on average. That's this year.
You got to differentiate between weather and climate, and you hear that all the time. And weather is what's happening this year, what this snowpack is like this year. But climate is, if you give something 30 years or longer, and you start to see a trend or an average over that period of time, and you got to pay attention to that as well.
While most of us think of Yellowstone National Park as a summer visit to a geyser and a chance to see a grizzly bear, in reality, most of what happens in Yellowstone is happening right now. That snow falling in the mountains is building snowpack that will ultimately become the Gallatin, the Madison, the Yellowstone, all rivers with their beginnings here in the park. Just like Undine Falls behind me, it sits and waits until that spring thaw to release its potential. However, research that's been going on in Yellowstone for more than 40 years is telling us that waterfall will thaw much earlier in the spring, and it won't freeze until much later next fall.
And when we look at that, the trend over time is decreasing snowpack all over the whole, in fact, all over the whole ecosystem. I don't think there's anywhere in the ecosystem where we have an increasing snowpack over time.
Rodman says that kind of change, as much as 30 days shorter in some places, will have an impact on the park, the entire park over time. Changes in vegetation change food for grazing animals. Warmer water temperatures changes fisheries. All that changes predatory hunting options. The good news, Yellowstone being what it is, top to bottom helps the ecosystem weather the changing climate.
The ecosystem is pretty resilient, I think, because we have such varying topography and huge elevation differences. So we have lots of different, like you said, ecosystems, microclimates, all of that. I think that allows, as we go forward and things are changing, it allows plants and animals to adapt to these microsystems, and there's lots of them all around, different aspects, different elevations, those type of things. If we were in a Midwest and it was flat, it'd be a much different looking forward into the future.
Chet Lehman, MTN News, Yellowstone National Park.